Hi, my name is Tanushree Thakur, and I welcome all of you to my channel. I recently read this book, How I Braved AUNTY and Co-Founded a $1 million company. It has been really awesome, and from the time I read this book, I'm hooked on to this author. So how I stumbled upon him is really interesting. Actually, it's really basic, but I consider it to be really special because I never thought I would continue to watch something for such a long time, and I just met his account by happenstance. His name is Varun Agarwal, and once as I was scrolling through my Insta feed, I just came across this video wherein he takes his mother to a date, and by date, it's basically a kind of Mother's Day celebration, but that was a really cool idea. So I thought of viewing his profile, and as I went through his posts, they were really amazing. He talks about different experiments that we can do. Once he wrote that we could go to our favorite restaurant that usually is very crowded, and then we have to go alone there and just order something and sit there for quite some time, and that slowly helps us develop self-confidence. I look forward to trying this out, and there were yet other dozens of experiments which he talked about in his videos. And recently he's also started a self-awareness program or a sort of series in which he talks about how our mind works and other things that we should know in order to have a very meaningful life. And he also has suggested me certain books, and I'm going to read them super soon. One of them is What Are You Doing with Your Life by Jiddu Krishnamurti. I thought of buying it, but the store in my place does not have it, and I also tried ordering it from Amazon, but it was not available there as well, and in Flipkart also it was not deliverable to my place. And so I decided to move on to some other metropolitan city and then get this book, because I'm gonna shift in some time, and I think I'm really excited to read that as well, and I'm sure I'll also post a video on that. I'll review that. I've read a few pages in its ebook, and it was um outstanding. Anyway, let me discuss about this book since I'm gonna review this. So it basically talks about his entrepreneurial journey, even though that has become a trend in recent days. But this book was written back in 2012, and at that time, entrepreneur was something that, as he says, let me tell you in his own words. In this country, it's a crime if you want to do anything apart from being an engineer or a doctor. The word entrepreneur practically doesn't exist. And if you want to do something on your own, you're treated like a terrorist. After the run in with AUNTY, I kept staring at the ceiling fan like for hours. I was becoming an expert at that sort of thing. So initially, he was practically jobless, and he had completed his engineering, though he was not much interested in it. But his mother's friend, whom he refers to as AUNTY here, has been constantly trying to intrude his privacy and constantly wants him to do whatever she wants. And AUNTY's son has got a good position in Infotech, which is basically an IT company, and she tries to boast herself in their kitty party, and promises Varun's mother that she will make sure Varun gets a proper job in Infotech, and just tries to show her Kai. Now, Kai, I've learned this Bangalorean term from this book itself. Showing your Kai basically means showing your worth or boasting about yourself by showing your by showing how much clout you have. So, anyways, she gets him into a job under his son. His name is Arjun. So he realizes, obviously Varun will realize what's happening with him, and he really wanted to do from the very ever since he was a child, he wanted to do something of his own. And at last he plans to open a company along with his friend while he was having a beer and had got wasted in a restaurant, proper restaurant known as Noon Wines. They write out their ideas in a piece of paper, and they never thought that that would get executed, and finally it did get executed. There were a lot of ups and downs in his life, still he strived, and at last founded this company called Alma Mater, which sells t-shirts, and these are customized t-shirts for alumni. That was an amazing thing back then, and even now it is. and it was a really new concept and people loved it. And he says that the greatest achievement is that once, when after all these things, when he with his friends were sitting in noon wines, they saw a student coming up, and he was wearing this shirt made by them, and that was his greatest achievement. He continues to emphasize on the fact that one should follow his or her own passion and not live a life that other wants us to live. Instead, do whatever we really love to do, because after all, and he also narrates a story which gives us a clear description as to what this entire book actually wants to tell us. He says that once on his way to Calcutta, he met a man who talks about him and his friend. Both of them went to really good colleges and then got placed in Apple company in America. Both were doing really well, and after a few years, when this man comes back to India, and his car got punctured, and then he got this mechanic get his car fixed. And while he was paying to this mechanic, he saw that that person was none other than his friend, and he was really shocked to see that. When he asked him what disaster brought him to such a position, his friend replies that he always loved cars or vehicles and he always wanted to repair it, and which is why he followed his passion and came here in order to repair people's vehicle, and he really enjoyed this. And then this old man says to Varun that he's really happy, uh, by him I mean his friend is really happy to live a life that he really wanted, but this old man is not happy, because and he would always regret this, and he was probably 72 years old. He says he always regret this fact that he lived a life that others wanted him to live, not that he lived his life to the fullest, and he always did what others wanted him to do. He never followed his passion, and that makes his life absolutely bootless. And Varun tells his mother, when Varun's mother discovers that he's selling t-shirts, it was a big disaster to her, and then she also started crying. Then Varun explains the entire story to his mother, and then he says that he does not want to become like that person. Instead, he wants to cherish his life to the fullest and live the way he wants, to explore a lot of things out there. So that was the sole purpose of this book, and it also discusses a few things that an entrepreneur should keep in mind before starting his or her own company. And I really loved this entire thing. And yeah, that was it from my side. Thank you very much for watching this video. I just poured out whatever I had in my mind regarding this book, and whenever I see it, I have a pile of books kept with me, and whenever I see this book, it always rejuvenates me, and I really look forward to read it again, because this is so awesome. Like, when you read this, you can feel each and every essence of this story. Thank you very much for watching. I don't know why am I stumbling so much. Probably because I'm getting nervous. I don't know for what reason.